thank you for joining me for today. First of all, can you all start by introducing yourself and describe your respective area of research?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Danish bin Anuar. My research focuses on the foundational aspect of the Quran and SUNNAH in Islamic family law, including their historical context, objective methodologies used to study them, and their conclusions on shaping family structures.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Awatif binti Muhammad Arif. I will be focusing on literature review, key findings, and gaps in the research.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is Muhammad Arif Aiman bin Asri, and my work center on the detailed finding of the role of the Quran and Sunnah in marriage, divorce, and inheritance law.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Nazreen Salina binti Sabri, and my research is about the discussion about how reform movement have adapted Islamic family law to modern societal needs while maintaining Quranic principles.
To start, could you explain the introduction and objective of your research?
Certainly, our study begins by emphasizing the foundation role of the Quran and Sunnah as the primary sources of Islamic law. They serve not only as religious guidance but also as a regulatory frameworks that influence family. The main objective is to explore how these sources have shaped the rights and obligations within family structures, particularly in addressing marriage, divorce, and inheritance. By studying this, we aim to show how Islamic jurisprudence promotes justice and equity within a familial relationships, both historically and in a modern context.
Awatif, can you summarize the key points from your review and what are the main findings?
Yes, certainly. The literature highlights transformative Quranic reforms that uplifted women's rights in marriage, divorce, and inheritance. For example, in Expositor's work, he demonstrates how the Quran provides women's legal rights that were revolutionary for its time, challenging patriarchal norms. In terms of key findings, the Quran redefined marriage as sacred contract, emphasized fairness in divorce, and granted women fixed shares in inheritance. However, patriarchal interpretation over time has diluted these principles, creating a gap between the Quran's original spirit of equity and its modern application.
What about gaps in research that you have identified?
A significant gap was in reconciling Quranic principles with contemporary international human rights standards. For example, issues like gender equality and protection against domestic violence lack sufficient integration into traditional Islamic law frameworks. Furthermore, while ijtihad is acknowledged, its practical impact on modern reform movements remains underexplored.
Could you also walk us through the methodology you use in your research?
Certainly, we employed a doctrinal research approach analyzing primary sources, the Quran and the Sunnah, and secondary texts such as academic works and also the legal studies. We focus on interpreting Quranic verses and hadiths related to family law while comparing them with the modern legal frameworks and international human rights documents like CEDAW. This helps us identify areas of convergence and divergence between Islamic law and contemporary legal standards. That's all.
So now, could you elaborate about the specific findings of your research?
Absolutely. Our findings show how Islamic family law revolutionized pre-Islamic study. For instance, marriage. The Quran transformed marriage into a sacred union based on mutual consent, introducing the concept of mahar, a dower given directly to the wife as financial security. Surah An-Nisa chapter 4 verse 4. In divorce, the Quran established procedural finance, such as the waiting period, enough to encourage reconciliation in Surah At-Talaq chapter 65 verse 1. Modern reform like judicial oversight in Egypt further safeguard women's rights. Lastly, in inheritance, the Quran granted women fixation, challenging patriarchal norms in pre-Islamic Arabia. Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, verse 11 to 12. Despite these cultural biases, still sometimes undermine women's inheritance right today.
So Nazreen, how does your research discuss these findings and their relevance to modern reforms?
Okay, so our discussion highlight about the need for continuous interpretation of Islamic family law to align with both Quranic values and contemporary realities. Reform movements have been instrumental in addressing biases. For example, restriction on polygamy in Tunisia, which reflect the Quran's emphasis on fairness, which has been stated in Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, verse 3. So the second one is reforms is divorce law in countries like Pakistan ensures the equitable treatment and protect women for arbitrary talaq. And the last one is efforts to modernize inheritance law to harmonize Quranic principles with gender equality in contemporary societies. Ultimately, these reforms demonstrate that Islamic jurisprudence is flexible enough to adapt to evolving social needs while remaining true to its core principle of justice and equity.
So now, could you conclude by summarizing the overall significance of your research?
Our research underscores the revolutionary impact of the Quran and Sunnah in shaping family law by promoting a principle of justice, equity, and also the compassion. These sources provided a foundation for fair family structures. However, patriarchal interpretations have diluted these values over time, necessitating continuous reform by revisiting Quranic teachings through modern lenses. Muslim societies can uphold their core principles while addressing contemporary challenges. That's all.
Thank you everyone for this insightful discussion. It has been a pleasure speaking with all of you.